Hi everybody, thank you for coming back and watching the next update on my cerebral amyloid angiopathy journey, and it's good to see you all. Thank you very much for those that have joined up and as subscribers, and thank you so much for all the messages that I'm getting. Again, I say this and everyone, I still think I'm missing some, but I just can't work out why I seem to see some and not others. Now, I also have an email an address now, so if you look somewhere at the end of this video or even on my YouTube channel, you should be able to find that, and I'm happy for you to chat. Just remember that I'm not a doctor and I can only speak about what's happening to me in my journey. So let's get on with it then. So you may remember that I think it was the beginning of September or the end of August, I went to see my professor, my neurologist, and he asked me to go and have a few tests. So he asked me to have blood tests. He asked me to have an MRI scan. And he also arranged a cognitive testing session for me. So we got all that done. We made up for the appointment and we headed there. And I think that appointment, when I got to him, was the 12th of September. Now, I've got some notes on my screen that I'm going to read. That way I don't forget anything. So let's just start with, okay, so he asked me to go and get some blood tests. Now, there was a lot of them, and I have to tell you that I had never heard of anything. So that was a little bit scary because it was like, what's that going to uncover? Now, they come back pretty normal, whatever they were, so he wasn't worried about them. It did show that I was low in vitamin D. And he suggested that I get up and, get myself some vitamin D capsules and take those. Now, I don't remember him saying why, but my husband was there. Between us, we think he suggested that vitamin D was good for your memory. So I did a little bit of research on vitamin D, and it was actually very interesting to find out what vitamin D does for you. Now, normally you absorb vitamin D when you spend a lot of time outside, which I don't do. And what I'm actually going to do, because I did find that it's been suggested that vitamin D will improve or help with your memory. And I did note down, let me just find it. Vitamin D also helps with hormone function and the nervous system regulation. Vitamin D is vital for bone development and strength, cell growth, and maintaining a healthy immune system. That was quite interesting to read. So, but it's fairly lengthy. So what I'm going to do is actually make another video just focusing on the nervous system, what that entails, and maybe the healthy immune system, because that was interesting, but it's too long to put into this video. And again, in what I did find, it actually was suggested that it could help with your memory, the memory. Hey, why not? Let's take it. I probably need it anyway if I was low in it. So, yep, I'm going to go ahead and do that. As I said, everything else seemed fine. Now, one of the tests he did was a blood test called the APOE4 blood test. This test was not covered by Medicare, which is our government healthcare, and it did cost me $174. But I figured, when I went back to him, I wanted him, if you've been following my videos, I wanted to have a check. I wanted this neurologist to do what I would have thought every other neurologist would have done. Now, I had queried with him whether I might be getting vascular dementia or Alzheimer's, because there had been a decline in my memory and, different versions of my memory. So I was happy because I Googled this, because it's like 174, do I need this? And I Googled this. Now, what that test was for, and I was really impressed with this, it was looking for, so that test, the APOE4, tests for the biomarkers for Alzheimer's. And apparently, if I've got this right, there are 4 biomarkers to suggest whether you've got it or you're likely to get it, etc. I don't have any. I don't have any of the 4. So at this point in time, I do not have the biomarkers to suggest that I'm going to develop Alzheimer's at this point. And I don't know if I asked him whether that is like as it stands now and whether I'm going to develop it, and I could develop it down the track. But right now, I don't have the biomarkers for that. He also, let me see what else. I don't want to miss any of this because it's taken me ages to get around to getting this together. Let me just have a look. Right. I also, he sent me for an MRI scan. This was against a scan that I had in 2020. So he wanted to have a look at them and sort of, how did they compare? And the comparison was it showed it was stable. Now, I don't know whether that means there were little changes or there was no changes, but he was happy that right now that was stable. That's fine. I'm happy with that. I'm probably going to have another scan in about a year's time, and I'm happy with that right now. Another thing he sent me for was cognitive testing. Now, that's a test where they ask you various questions. The assistant doing the testing also told me that they take into account various things. Again, I'm reading, okay? Takes into account the various things when they do the test, and that includes your memory, how long it takes you to answer the question, how stable you are when you're holding a pen, how your language is, and any problem solving in some of the questions, and also your visual abilities. And also, that was quite amazing to me because I thought it was going to be all about my memory. And so when we'd finished and I sort of asked her, that's when she kind of explained that bit. So that was interesting as well. Now, good thing is I scored in the upper 90s for the cognitive testing. And I think that's very good results, and that's out of 100. It didn't cause the tester any problems, but she did say that the neuro might want to send me for some further testing, but he was happy with that score. So that's where we left it at the moment for that. He has arranged for me to have a PET scan, and we're using the PET scan as a base so that in the future, now I'm not sure what the PET scan is for. I did read somewhere as well whether it had to do with Alzheimer's, but I'm not sure. And because I thought I knew what he was talking about, and then when I walked out, it's like, I don't really know. And I go to have that done on, I think, the 23rd of October, 23rd of October. So that's going to take 2 hours. But again, I read that they inject you with a dye or something, or a magnetic something or other, and that it takes an hour for it to absorb. So maybe that's where the time frame, because I hate to think I was in a bloody machine for 2 hours. Anyway, we'll see. So with the Alzheimer's test and the cognitive test, it looks like right now I don't have onset dementia, and that was great to hear. And I think I might have said in a previous video that I was very concerned about vascular dementia, because some of the things I got seemed to link with vascular dementia. Now, he said to me that the bleeds that I'm having are kind of on the upper part of the brain, and vascular dementia seemed to develop more from deeper in the brain. Now, that was good news as well. So I'm just running with that. That's all I need to know at the moment about that. Now, I think I asked him, that, okay, if I haven't got dementia and I haven't got onset dementia, what about the deficits that I have got in my memory and my problem solving and logic solving, that sort of stuff. And I can't remember. I don't know whether he didn't answer that or he did answer that. And my husband seemed to think he said that he doesn't know at this point. So I'll wait till I go back to him, which is actually not going to be for quite a while. But that'll be something that maybe I'll even send him a text, an email, and just ask that. Now, things to take away from this. I am not cured. I still have CAA. Please don't look at me and don't say, congratulations, that's fantastic. Well, yeah, it's fantastic. I'm over the moon that right now I don't seem to have anything too bad. I do still have mild cognitive impairment, but I haven't got, the dementia, Alzheimer's, or vascular dementia at this point. So I'm going to go with that. At the previous appointment that I did have with him, he was a bit concerned at the time when he took my blood pressure. It was 137, I think, over whatever, and he was very concerned about that. But I told him that normally I run around the 120 to 27, and that, sometimes I get when I have to go and see a doctor, a lot of people, their blood pressure goes up. So what he asked me to do was, from that appointment to the one that I've just had, to keep a diary of my blood pressure. So he asked me to take my blood pressure every day and keep a diary of what time of the day it was and what the blood pressure was. Now, in that time frame, my blood pressure went as low as 111. But it used to sit around mostly 119 to 125. A couple of times it went up in the 130s. Because he said that if it was in the 130s, that he was probably going to put me on medication. Again, if you know me, I hate the thought of taking any medications, but I would have taken it because that's why I went to him. I need care, and I was going to say, I was going to roll over and go, okay, if I have to have blood pressure tablets, just give it to me. But I did. He looked at it. He was very happy with it, and I didn't need any blood pressure meds at this time. So again, happy with that. He did ask me that if I was interested in doing any research. He offered me, research, and I said at this time, I'm not interested. And at this time, in my mind, in my head, what I need now is almost like, to some degree, ignorance is bliss, and I'll leave it at that. And he said, well, if I change my mind, then that's fine. He will tee up something like that. But I think I don't need any more overload, and I don't think I would be able to cope with that. So we're skipping that. Now, interestingly, he did some checks on my reflexes, and if you're not sure what reflex is, I'm going to read it to you. A reflex is an automatic physical reaction to stimuli, which could include a noise, physical sensation, taste, sight, or smell. And whether or not your reflexes are normal may depend on your age or circumstances. Unusual reflexes, though, could be a sign of a neurological or a nervous system disorder or other health condition. So he did things like, I laid on the bed, and he hit my knee with a hammer, and he wiped his like fingernails down the bolt underneath my feet. He tickled this part of my under my lips, and I thought, what the heck are you doing? But he was saying that different reflex actions, where they might be normal in, say, a baby, if an adult has, which grows out of them, but if an adult have those reflexes, it could be a sign of neurological or spinal column issues. And it also can rule out things like Parkinson's, for instance, or brain damage. And I've got an example here. So this is called the Babinski test. Now, in that exam, a neurologist scratches the bottom of your foot with something irritating. In an adult, the toes will normally curl down, yet typically in children aged 2 and under, the toes instead turn up and fan out. Now, if an adult has this same reaction as a baby, it may be a sign of a stroke, a tumour, inflammation around the brain, or a spinal cord injury. Now, there's different tests with different names for different reasons. And again, that's something quite interesting if you actually wanted to do some research on that. It's quite amazing. I've always thought when they've done these things, my leg didn't kick out, because I always thought, like in the movies when they hit your knee and your leg sticks out. So that was really interesting. What else? Oh, I had to do some rapid hand movements, like touch this, touch his nose. And so I could do that like that. But when I was doing his, I'm like, so I don't think I did too well. I struggled a bit with that, but he didn't mention that was a problem. What else did he do? He made me walk around the room because I have trouble with walking and balance, and, the sobriety test where you put one foot in front of the other. So that was something nobody had ever, even though I complained about that all the time, like my balance is off. I cannot walk in a straight line. My husband has to hold my hand, and so I was glad that he did that. So we talked about a lot of things between the first and the last appointment. And if you remember, I hadn't had a follow-up in 3 years. I'd had no real response. And then when I tried to get some information from a neurologist in the hospital I was under, he didn't want to answer me. So you can look back on one of the other videos and just see there. That's why I hunted out the first neurologist that I'd had in 2014. Very happy to see me. We spent a lot of time together. I asked him, and he did agree that the symptoms I had in 2014 were, in his opinion, the start of cerebral amyloid angiopathy. He also believes that, because I think you might know too, that they were kind of saying the age, the actual age that they're feeling, or that they used to diagnose, was from anywhere from 60 plus. But if you had those symptoms and you were under, they were kind of dismissing them as not having CAA. And there appears now to be more and more people in their early 50s that are presenting and being diagnosed with CAA. And I asked my neurologist about that. And his opinion was that, years ago, the MRI scans were at a certain level. The MRI scanners were at a certain level, but as years go by and they refine the machines, and they get better and more sensitive to what they pick up. And I really believe that they're going to have to change their way of thinking about, what age do they rule it out before that you can't have it, because more and more people that I've been reading about and talking to are in their 50s. So I really think they're going to have to rethink that. What else was there? But he agreed that he thought that back in 2014 was probably the initial start of cerebral amyloid angiopathy. I asked him whether I can stay his patient, because normally when I got taken to hospital before, I ended up at our local hospital, which is a good hospital, but I think just the neurologist I had was shit and useless, didn't want to talk to me, couldn't even look me in the eye. And so obviously that's the local hospital that if I need an emergency to get to hospital, that's where they will take me. And he's in the other direction and to the west, but he said he's happy to stay my neurologist, and I was really happy with that. I think that's all I've got to say about the actual how that went. As I said, I'm booked in to have a PET scan. Is there anything else? I think that's all. I am having a lot of trouble at the moment. I think I might have the recurrence of spinal stenosis that I had in 2018. I've been having a lot of trouble now for I think it's about 7 weeks now. And I've got another 2 weeks to wait to be able to get in and have scans for that. But it's really, I'm having a hard time with the pain I'm suffering with my legs. I did think it was my hips, but I've actually made a video about that I'm going to start following. But I'm hanging on to that video just to see what the results are. And then if it's spinal stenosis, I will be doing more on that. I had surgery in 2018. I had a laminectomy and a decompression because it was quite bad. But all in all, really happy. I feel except for being now, oh God, please don't tell me I've got spinal stenosis, because I really don't need anything else to think about. But I feel like I'm in a really good place at the moment. I always felt that when I didn't have a follow-up at the hospital for 3 years, I really felt like nobody cared. And it was like, you got the diagnosis, now go off and do whatever. And I think I'm one of the lucky ones, because at the moment, I think I'm not having many episodes, and I think I'm very lucky, and I thank God every day, and I'm thankful. And I know that even my whole way of thinking is going to change when I have the next episode, and I will get another episode. And I just feel right now that I'm just resting. And that's why I think I'm disturbed now that I've got something. If it's not spinal stenosis, it's bloody something. And I can't walk properly, and I can't sleep properly, and I can't take anti-inflammatories. We all know why. And I don't want to take, painkillers. And, the choice might be that I need a steroid injection. And what do I do there? And I do want quality of life over quantity of life. All these questions, it just gets to you really, really badly. We just have another few looks at this. I think that was kind of all. Guys, thank you for joining me today. This is late going up because, as I say, it wasn't long after that really that I started having all this pain, and I just haven't been able to wrap my head around, because I know that these videos look like they're slapped together, but I do actually sit down and write a synopsis of what I want to say. And even with this vitamin D thing, I did research on vitamin D, why, whatever, and and I found that what they were talking about with the what was it called? Let me see. With the immune system and the function and the nervous system regulation. That was really cool. I'm not sure. I think the immune system might be a bit too complicated for me to have an opinion on, but I think it deserves its own video. Once again, thank you for joining. There's actually a Facebook page, and it's for people it's for patients. It's for people who are the patients, who has the CAA, not for their carers, for people that have CAA, because a friend of mine started the group because we kind of thought, she came up with the idea, and I think it was a great idea, that we actually need a safe place where we can talk and we can tell people exactly what we're feeling. And here's a fear that I have, and this happened to me. You know, do you think it's CAA? Because sometimes we love our carers, we're very thankful for our carers, but sometimes you just can't talk to a carer. They just don't get it. That feeling you have, that scary feeling you have, the trauma you feel, the fear you feel, the confusion is very hard to express to somebody else. And also, when somebody says, you know, as I said, you know, when I told my sister, I'd been saying for a while I was worried about dementia. And then when I got the results back that said I've got no biomarkers for Alzheimer's and I don't appear to have actual dementia at the moment, my sister said, see, I told you, you've been worrying for 2 years for nothing now. Just get on and live your bloody life. Hello? I still have CAA. It's not going away, and the side effects of CAA are not going to go away. So who do you talk to? See, it's that you don't want that response. That is like saying to somebody who has, what is it? Emphysema, who goes for a test and their lung capacity is 79%. I don't know if that's possible, but just say 79%, and they tell you, today my lung capacity was 79%. It's like me saying, wow, that's fantastic. You know, oh my God, that's great. You know, you're not going to have to worry anymore. It's like, no, I still have emphysema. But just on that one day when I went, for some reason, my lung capacity was high. They're not cured. It hasn't gone away. They just had a good test or a good, you know, but it's like, to me, I almost feel like that's an insult when people, they're just, you know what, they probably don't know what else to say, right? They're just trying to be nice. It just doesn't come over that way to me anymore. So this is why Sharon Fleming put together this page, and I will leave it in the description. Trying to make sure that you can get the perfect link to it. But you need to go there if you are a patient, if you have CAA, if you want to listen to other people, if you want to talk. And you know what? We talk about all sorts of junk and shit. It doesn't matter if you get a hiccup and you wonder if that's CAA related. Ask us. We don't know. We're not doctors. But we can maybe help you feel better about it. And you'll learn some stuff from people that have gone through it. You'll learn that not everybody even gets the right diagnosis with CAA. And you'll learn that so many doctors haven't got a bloody clue. But you'll get to talk and say your bit in a very safe environment. That's all for now. I'm leaving you alone. And hopefully, if I'm really lucky, this video recorded, because I can't say again everything I just said. Have a great day for the rest of your day. We all care about you, and we just want you to be the best you can be today, because it's good to be the best you can be today. And don't worry about if today you can't be good. If today you can't laugh, that's okay. Okay, we're here for you. Okay, guys, drop me a comment if you like. I'm sorry, I'm trying so hard. As I say, I think I'm missing some. Thank you for subscribing. I'm going to leave my email address in the section below. Please give me a like, as they say. Thank you for subscribing. And if you know anybody that wants to just, got nothing better to do but wants to look at my videos, just go ahead. But have a good day, And I thank you for being you. And I think that's about all. So fingers crossed this video taped. And now I've just got to try to find how to get out of this one. And here we go. All right, guys. See you next time.